Happy Confucius Day, and welcome to the Sandlot Cast, the podcast about our uber competitive fantasy football league where we can't stop till we get enough. With me this week, I've only got Hillers. Anthony had plans. He's got too important and fun of a life to join us on this ridiculous podcast and nobody watches. Hillers, how are you, man, other than the fact that you don't have a life like I do?
I'm doing too good, doing all right. I'm absorbing the wisdom of Confucius? I thought it was Confucius.
No, Confucius.
Confucius Day.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to, learn about filial piety and peacefulness.
Phil who?
Filial. Never mind. It's not important for fantasy football podcast.
Okay.
Let's just complete this thing before AJ Green scores about 3 more touchdowns.
Yeah, watching the Thursday night game, he's already got one. The Dolphins have decided to not cover him tonight. So we're going to make this
good
quick
strategy,
podcast. Dolphins. We're just going to go over power rankings just so we can post. Got to post, man. That's what it's all about in the podcast world. Little insider tip there. When I say insider, I mean the industry.
Quantity over quality.
That's right. So we're just going to run through our power rankings, maybe say a few things about each team if we want to as we go through. If Hillers wants to question mine or I want to question his, we'll do that. But other than that, we're just going to crank through them and be done hopefully quicker than we've ever been done before, which I know we've never said before. So
I have, but not in this context.
Hillers, first. Well, before we do that, no big trades this week for you. So
it can't be every week. It's a long season.
Yeah.
And you got to pick your spots.
Okay. Well, this Aaron Rodgers guy's pretty good. I appreciate it.
You want to trade me again? I'll trade some more right now. What do you want to trade?
Yeah. So anyway, do you want to start or should I start at 12?
No, I'll start.
All right.
At the bottom.
And if you could just give a quick sentence on why you got him there.
Okay.
As usual, jump in, I'll go, and then I'll jump in.
And probably for the rest of the season, I
don't want to keep interrupting you if I don't have to keep interrupting.
Oh my God! I hate you so much. Why do we do this? Iron Pirates Miscreant Crew at 12 because it's AJ Green and a heap of shit. There's nothing redeemable about this squad except for AJ Green. Yeah. Maybe he can put up 50 points and maybe he wins a game this week. We'll see. Probably not, but who knows?
Probably not.
At 11, I have PBJ time because I had them at 10 last week and I beat them. So I take what I kill, just like Riddick, and puts me at 10.
What? Like who?
I think I'm Riddick. The Riddick franchise. When he kills the Necromongers, you keep what you kill. And then he killed the Emperor, so he gets the Empire of Space Killers, which he didn't want. It was an ironic.
He scored 90 points though this week. Like, I know you beat him, but he would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other teams if he would have played him. He was right in the middle of the pack this week. But you
thought that I didn't play those teams. I'm still at 10. Should I be higher up by that record?
No, you should not. No.
Yeah.
No.
All right then. I did put myself higher up, not just because I beat Brett, but also because it looks like that Jordan Howard situation might actually be panning out for me a little bit. And Carson Wentz, I think I can't think of a broadcaster that's not over the moon about Carson Wentz. I'm seeing headlines like Peyton before the snap, Rodgers after the snap. I'm like, come on, the guy's played 3 games. But still, it's,
wow.
you like to see that,
Yeah, we'll love him until he fails, and he's going to fail at some point, and that's okay. I mean, he's a rookie.
It's his rookie season.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll have him next year.
So far, so good.
Unless somebody gives me a better offer. Anyway,
so you're at 10. You at 10.
I'm at 10. Assassins is at 9. I have Weenye at 8. They took a big drop because they are not showing up, and their points for are not good, and they're down at the bottom there, so they got to show me something to move up a little bit.
Isn't it points fourth?
No, points for your team.
I know that's what Anthony.
Why would it? Anthony always says points fourth, and I've never really questioned him on it because who cares? But I don't think that's right.
No, I don't think it's right.
Anyway, no, I don't know where he got that. Yeah. I've got the Choops at 7, which is a little incongruous maybe, but if you look at their team, they actually have the ability to put up a good amount of points on any given week, and I think that they can really come back and do some damage, maybe even this week. And then at 6, I have you.
Okay. So at 12, I have Nick. As you said, it's AJ Green and a pile of crap. That should be his team name. Also, two more things. This may be the worst team this league has ever seen.
Wow. Ever?
I'm not trying to pile on, but I just want us to.
You're gonna have to go back and look.
Take a step back and appreciate how bad this team is. Like, this is pretty bad.
Like, what's it got going for it? Anything? Is there any chance of anything? I mean, Matt Ryan isn't always bad, right?
Matt Ryan's he's actually, I think, the #1 QB right now in fantasy.
Yeah, so. Matt Ryan is legit. It's one of the years where Matty Ice is a good quarterback. So,
but it's been 3 games, so let's slow down a little bit. Let's.
Yeah.
There's a reason he went for $1.
But the running back core, surprisingly, is maybe worse than mine.
It's awful.
Which I didn't think a person could do. But Jerick McKinnon, who's not even really the guy there. James White, who is he playing on the Patriots?
He is kind of. But it's
does LeGarrette Blount get tired sometimes and let him hold the clipboard?
Pretty much.
And then T.J. Yeldon, who is going to be even worse when Ivory gets back.
Yes, well, he's back already. So yeah.
Yeah. So okay, well that era is done.
Yeah.
And so I hope you like Quincy Enunwa, who was a good pickup, but maybe as a flex play and not as a #2 receiver.
I will say if Eric Decker is out, which it looks like he may be for the next couple of weeks, he's been getting MRIs and X-rays and scanning his cat and stuff. So
you don't want that.
He may be out for a few weeks, which maybe makes Enunwa better. But do you want Quincy Enunwa as your #2 receiver? Like, that's just maybe in a deep league that's fine, but in this league, anyway.
Like I don't have the Assassins highly rated, and I don't think it's probable that Nick beats him this week.
No. So anyway, that's enough time on this. But also, is it possible this team doesn't win a game this year? I mean, I know it's possible, but
what odds are you giving me here?
I don't know. I just want to plant that seed and move on. That's all. Let's just plant.
I'll give it a 33% chance.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Now.
That's pretty high.
Pretty high.
Something that's never been done before. So, I'd have to go back in the books and see if we've even had anybody that's only won 1 game. Like that would be.
I think
crazy.
Maybe 2 or 3 victories was our least ever.
I went 2-14 once. So.
Okay, well at least 2.
Yeah. All right. At 10, I have the Duplex.
Why so low?
They have put up 2 bad weeks in a row. This is a team I have not believed in yet, and I know you say that always helps them, which is fine. But their last 2 weeks have been very bad. And the one thing this team had going for them that I really thought was going to help them kind of bounce back and separate themselves was Andrew Luck, and he's been okay, but really not that great. Eddie Lacy not bouncing back as we thought he would.
Not that great. I mean, he's been pretty good. Him and Derek Carr were tied. It's over 60 points. So, I mean, pick your matchup, but still, that's not bad.
It's just, again, it's the same thing I've said every week. There's nobody on this team. There's no, like, flagship guy. There's nobody on this team that's going to carry you. There's nobody that scares you. And
Travis Benjamin doesn't scare you at all?
No. I think he's fine.
Maybe should.
I'd like to have him, but he went 3 points, 23 points, 4 points. He had 4 points against Indianapolis last week. Like, that's really not good.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Well, he's got Terrell Pryor now, so it's a new day.
Maybe Pryor, yeah. And with Josh Gordon now going to rehab, looks like Pryor's going to be around a while.
Okay.
Yeah. So
is Josh Gordon ever going to play again?
But this is a team, Dave's team, I just haven't believed in, and he hasn't really done anything to prove me wrong on it yet. So keeping him at 10. At 9, I have EBS.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That strikes me as quite low. Sorry, I'm not going to call you out on every team, but what's the deal with that?
So the way I do this, just real quick, to kind of re-summarize, is I rank each team by their quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight end, and then their depth. Defense and kickers I don't really rank because that fluctuates too much to rank. So. And the reason I have EBS so low is his quarterbacks are bad and his running backs are bad. And he doesn't have much depth.
When you're starting Dwayne Washington, that's cause for concern.
Yeah, I mean he's got I guess Jeremy Hill and Chris Ivory, which is okay, but Jeremy Hill is really hit or miss, depending on if he gets touchdowns, and then Ivory hasn't really done anything yet this year, so I like Ivory. I think he's fine, but when you compare that running back core to others, it's not that great. So, and his quarterbacks are Jameis Winston and Alex Smith, who have both been really inconsistent. So,
well argued.
So that's why. At 8, I have the Choops. I feel like the Choops are a better version of the Duplex. Like, you know how we said about JD's team? It's like, oh, he's got really solid up and down, but nothing really that is crazy and scares you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like he's closer to that than Dave is with Devontae Freeman. With who else?
Forte's doing a lot better than I expected.
And Forte,
I think.
Yeah.
People slept on him at the draft and just all year, and we forgot. This guy's an amazing running back and has been for a long time. No reason he would stop doing that just because he went to the Jets. It's
right.
I'm crushing my Forte versus Bilal Powell bet.
So I have him. I have the Choops. What's carrying him is his depth. I have him ranked 3rd in depth in the league right now. Like, just a lot of guys. And I do that based on number of guys I'm comfortable putting in a starting lineup, and this is totally my opinion, but hey, it's my power rankings, so, deal with it.
Right.
He's last in quarterback. I have him at dead last in quarterback, so that's what's keeping him down.
For Phillip Rivers.
But other than that, he's pretty solid. So at 7, I have Brett, PBJ. Brett is just kind of middle of the road across the board for me. 8th in quarterback, 4th in running back, 7th wide receiver, 7th tight end, 7th in depth. Just kind of middle of the road. Nothing too crazy, but
I think you made some good points before the show, though. This could be a team on the up.
Right, like Marvin Jones, for instance. If that keeps going like it is,
yeah. What the hell?
All of a sudden, he's got Alshon Jeffrey, Marvin Jones, and if Sammy Watkins comes back, that's a pretty good wide receiving core. Combine that with Ezekiel Elliott, and he's got. I know this probably won't last, but he's got Charles Sims now, who's the starter in Tampa Bay. As his second running back, and then also Matt Asiata, he was able to get a claim in on him to pick him up. So,
yeah, I mean, to see Marvin Jones now, it's clear that he was just could have been a number 1 on all kinds of teams, but just wasn't because AJ Green was there, And then,
right.
But it's pretty remarkable what he's doing there, and also how badly and how useless Golden Tate is now that whole situation in Detroit is what it is.
Yeah.
He's not a number 1, and to put him there makes him even worse than he was in the slot.
Yeah, they're saying they're going to feed him the ball more now, and the problem is he's just not getting any depth on his.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Well, it's working.
Yeah,
where it is.
They're throwing the ball all over the yard. So, so Brett pretty solid, and a couple things broke his way this week, so that's why I moved him up a little bit.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's go. If you're good with that, Hillers, let's go 6-1.
6-1 at 6. Oh, well, I already gave you a 6. I guess I spoiled that one. So
who'd you have at 7?
There you are. Middle of the road. The Choops.
Okay.
The Choops, yeah. And you at 6.
Okay.
And then, let's see, where's my 5? Duplex at 5. They're falling down. Your arguments are compelling. They're going to be sliding down. I'm not. I don't usually do huge jumps on these things. People tend to slide down, or in this case, stay where they are.
Yeah, we've differed on them most of the year here on the Duplex. So one of the polarizing teams.
Well, yeah, but at 5, it's like that's just right now barely playoff window, and if they keep on, we'll fall below that. At 4, I have EBS, who I feel is doing well, given a difficult division, but it's going to be tough to keep it up.
We're way apart on too.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, he's got good points for. He's got a reasonable lineup here. I mean, sometimes when you're in the 4, 5, 6, 7 range, guys can bounce around in there. But
yes, that's true.
I think Jameis Winston does have the between Jameis Winston, Antonio Brown, and Doug Baldwin. I feel like if he's going to win some games, just because those guys are going to break out and have good games, at the same time. When they have good games at the same time, that's like 70 points right there.
Right.
Without you having to do anything else. So it's sort of a boom or bust type team. But then I've got Touchdown Jesus, who I hate, is in my division. That team is really good. And then
that was at 3, or
at 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Sex Cannons at 2.
Kangaroo
Dad
Court,
Dix.
you mean?
Nope. Sex Cannons at 2.
Fair enough.
Dad Dix at 1.
Okay.
Despite Evan's undefeated record, I think that on a given week, I think I'd probably rather have the depth of the Dad Dix, especially now that Le'Veon Bell is back, and they're like, we're gonna feed him the football all the time. Like that's what he needed,
Right.
With LeGarrette Blount being like, is he the number 1 running back in the league right now? And if he's not, then it's David Johnson. I mean, this is ridiculous.
It may be the best running back core we've ever seen in this league.
We've ever seen. As hard as it is to come across running backs, this fucker Forrest Gumped his way into a 1-2-3 punch here.
Yep.
That I don't even with his running backs being or his wide receivers being unimpressive. Who cares?
Yeah.
These 3 guys, even with Kirk Cousins, like he has no other good position except for Greg Olsen, and it doesn't matter.
Right. He's deep too. I've got him at number 1 on depth. Actually, I think he's got the best depth in the league as far as like you look up and down that roster. There's not many guys that you're like, ugh, I hope I don't have to start him. Like, there's very few of that on this roster. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. At 6,
He's gonna kill me this week.
Well, I beat him last week, so suck it, Grimes. At 6, I have the Assassins, who I think they dropped a game or a slot or 2 for me here.
Todd Gurley isn't really showing up.
And that's part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Todd Gurley isn't showing up, but Melvin Gordon is, on the other hand. But he's also got a hurt Doug Martin, so that's not great. And his quarterback.
Look at those wide receivers.
Yes, the receivers are good.
Enviable.
I have him. Yeah, I have him hurting at depth.
3 of those guys could be top 10 guys.
His tight end and his depth are his weakest spots for me. Depth, I have him at 10th, and that's only because you and Nick are behind him in that. So, of actual teams, he's last in depth. So, at 5, this one was the biggest shocker to me when I got done and I averaged everything out. At 5, I have the Kangaroo Court.
Whoa.
Yeah. This is the first time I think I've had him outside the top 2. And part of it is tight end. And I know Kyle Rudolph is fine. But he's kind of touchdown dependent. And, you're never excited to have Kyle Rudolph on your team.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and the running backs are good, but Lamar Miller isn't showing up like, say, David Johnson was showing. Like, the preseason hype was that Lamar Miller would be running away with this entire league.
That's right.
And he's quite good, but that hasn't really panned out. He's had some promising things go on with like Emmanuel Sanders and Philip Dorsett and things like that, but even as Drew Brees, as cheap as he is, well, no, actually, never mind. Drew Brees has done fine. Brees done just
for me. It was well, with Matthews kind of dinged up right now. I know they're on a bye week, so that kind of hurts him. So he's starting Michael and McCoy, he's got Michael, McCoy, or Miller he can start. So that's pretty good. But his number 2 receiver situation right now, I don't like. Like Willie Snead being banged up, he may be back soon. Tyler Eifert's been out, so of course that hurts the tight end. It's a good team. Don't get me wrong, it's a good team, but there's a few. I believed in Philip Dorsett a little more than I should have. I think he hasn't really shown anything yet. So, I mean, I do like the team. That's just that for some reason they came in at 5 for me. So
interesting.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Especially because, and this everybody's of course going to think this is crazy. I have the Widows at 4.
Yes, that's crazy.
Now, why did that change? Mainly because of the Aaron Rodgers acquisition. I feel like that was big. Now I know I've said that it didn't help much more than Stafford.
Who you starting this week, Mike?
Well, Rodgers is on bye, so I'm starting Stafford.
Okay.
But that moved me up in quarterback quite a bit. I feel like mainly I have Rodgers ranked as the number 1 quarterback right now because Cam has struggled a little bit. So I have that, but it's kind of they're like 1 and 1A. Like I don't know who to put there, but.
I will say that Crowder was a nice surprise on your team. That not necessarily surprised. I mean, guys you get early season off the waiver wire you get because they showed you something you didn't expect.
Right.
But there's potential there if he keeps getting the receptions. Too bad it's not a PPR league, right?
Right.
And Odell Beckham, if he can manage to defeat his nemesis, the kicking net.
Kicking net. Yes.
Should be okay.
Yeah.
Are you worried at all though about a little bit of competition from Sterling Shepard in New York?
I'm not. No. I think it's going to be fine in the end.
Another guy who's overperforming for you is Crowell. He was mediocre, total blah last season, and now, wow, look at that.
Well, it's because they don't have a quarterback that can throw, so they've just got to keep handing him the rock. He's been fine, but I've also got Gio. I've got hopefully Arian Foster comes back.
Gio.
That doesn't really.
Who cares about Gio?
Gio's okay if you need to plug him in for a flex, here and there. I don't feel good about
on my team, not on your team.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, as far as depth goes, I feel like running back's okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, my tight end is bad right now. Picked up Zach Miller, who had a good week last week, but who knows. And
that's the Hillers dropped me from his team, so now blow up week.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for.
You don't get too many of those.
So, basically, wide receiver and quarterback are keeping me high right now. I know Cobb has been bad, but Crowder, I think, has basically stepped in and done what I thought Cobb would do. So, anyway.
Yeah, I think Cobb has better days coming.
I hope so.
Just relax a little bit on Cobb.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to, trade him to me. But
I'll just sit him until he starts doing something. But it goes back to last year. If you look at Cobb's numbers, he's been single-digit fantasy points like 8 games in a row. Like it hasn't been good lately.
Well, he's not what he was, and I don't think he will be what he was. But that doesn't mean that he's useless. I don't think.
At 3, I have the Weenye. Big jump for them this week, mostly due to Gronk coming back. I know he didn't do anything last week, but each week he's getting healthier and healthier. And now he's got the number 1 tight end in the league, whereas before he had not that. So that moved him up quite a bit in my rankings. Also,
wait till Brady comes back before giving him that much.
Also, I have now moved this team into number 1 in wide receivers in the league, mainly due to Jordy Nelson being a complete beast. Because, everybody knew Jordy was back, but we weren't real sure, how good he was going to be. But with Jordy Nelson, Mike Evans, and Michael Crabtree, that's a really solid top 3 for receivers. And then John Brown, who really hasn't done anything yet, and I don't know that he will, but...
Wait till Fitz starts to sputter mid-season.
He's a good guy to have in your pocket for later, just in case.
That's what happened last season. Fitz came out setting the world on fire for about 5 games and then disappeared altogether. And then by the end of the year, John Brown had more games where he was the leading wide receiver on the Cardinals than Fitz did.
Right. So Weenye is here mainly because he's number 1 in wide receiver, number 1 in tight end in my rankings. Dad Dix at 2. They took a slide. I've had them at 1 every week until now, mainly because I'm starting to not believe in their wide receiving core. I'm starting to believe in it less and less, and I think that could hurt them down the road. Of course, they're number 2, so what are we talking about here? And then his quarterback situation is not ideal either, so that's kind of hurting him as well. But other than that, he's 1 at running back, 2 at tight end, 1 at depth. So I mean, he's solid. And then at number 1, I have Touchdown Jesus, who I play this week, which I'm really looking forward to.
Try having him in your division, you whiny bitch. I've got him and Weenye and the UBS division is a nightmare.
Although now
they're glad to have me.
Now that Dez is out for a while, I don't know. Although I have him at number 6 at tight end, or at wide receiver. So maybe I think I actually calculated that in.
You have Touchdown Jesus at 6?
At wide receiver.
Yeah. Even with Kelvin Benjamin and Mike Wallace, that seems a little bit low. Those guys have both been doing very well.
Didn't do anything last week, did he?
Well, not last week, but I mean, I think it's clear that he's got a good starting role.
I'm not completely buying yet after 2 good weeks versus the Bills and the Browns. I'm not all in yet on Wallace.
Okay, well, that's fair, but
so
I don't know. It seems a little low. But whatever.
Fine, but when you compare him to other wide receiver 2s out there right now,
we're splitting hairs. You got him at 1.
He's best team in the league.
Right. So what am I barking
2 in quarterback, 3 in running back, 6 at tight end, 5 at depth, 6 at wide receiver. So yeah, good team there. So that does it for the power rankings. Anything else you want to get off your chest, man? You good?
Nah. We almost made your 10 minutes, right?
Almost. It's still short, though. It was good.
Yeah, it's shorter than usual. You won't have to sit through an hour and a half this week.
You know what? We might.
You're welcome, everybody.
Maybe we'll go with this format from now on. Who knows?
Did we ever post for those who wanted to see it the Broken podcast from last week? Was it the sound that was a problem? I never
It's
saw
awful.
it.
Like you can't even hear it in spots. We might. Yeah. So what happened last week? We had Nick try to host it and he nicked it. So we.
An hour and a half down the shitter.
Yeah. So I've got the video. If you want to go to twitch.tv/SandlotGaming, I think it's there. I've got it on YouTube. I'm deciding whether or not I want to actually publish it because, like, it's abysmal. Like you can't even hear in some of the spots, and then there's an echo. Like you start hearing ourselves twice. At some of it, like, is terrible. So anyway, it was his first time trying to host something like that. So we'll.
Long story short, I was right on so many things.
It's
it was
true.
incredible.
Hillers was on fire. He was on fire.
It just one accurate thing after another. People were drooling.
It's just a shame nobody can hear it.
It's a shame. It might have been my best podcast of all time.
So we're going to close it out here, guys. Thanks for watching, both of you. And for Hillers, this is Merrill saying we will talk to you guys later.